Welcome to Become Strong for Life for Welcome to Become Strong for Life live. Today we're going to talk about sleep and we're going to talk about Mondays. But first things first, as always, thanks for tuning in. And for those of you that are catching this as a recorded podcast, I really appreciate you listening in. And if you're out there and you're not part of the group, shoot me a message. It'd be great to have you as part of the Become Strong for Life live Facebook group, which is where this is actually being recorded. So, those of you in the group, if you're not aware and you're having a hard time catching up with the live streams, then let me know. I'll send you a link to the podcast. We're on Apple and Spotify and Google Podcasts. And you can catch up whenever you want and listen in the car instead of having to watch it on your computer screen. Anyway, let's talk about what's been going on this week. So, a few big things. We've been talking a lot about sleep and we've been talking a lot about Mondays, and it's been great to have people in the group joining in these conversations and telling us about what their normal habits are and their behaviors. So, the poll this week, and this is the thing, every week we start off in the group with a poll. And the poll is all about starting conversations around topics that are important to our ongoing health and fitness and ultimately becoming strong for life. That's our thing, right? And so these polls are based around conversations I'm having with clients or with information. Not all the information comes from me, actually. The team, Abby and Shani, provide a lot of information, a lot of expertise in these areas, and life experience from everybody in the group. That's my favorite thing to learn from. I learn stuff all the time when people are like, hey, I do this thing. And I'm like, why didn't I think about that? I've been in this industry for over 12 years and I had never thought about that. And I'm always learning new things from the stories that you share in the group. So keep them coming. And if you're listening in on the podcast, add a comment, add a review, uh, tell me your story somehow. It's interesting. I love hearing these things. This is how I learn and how I can pass on this information to other people and help them too, especially when they're in similar circumstances. So let's look at the poll. The poll. Do you feel like you get enough sleep? Simple question, right? And the majority, at least half of people, said, well, it varies. They're not consistent with their sleep. Now, for me, anyone who is willing to listen to me talk about my fitness goals and priorities, sleep is my non negotiable. I will eat garbage food. I will give up workouts, but I will not give up sleep. Sleep is the big one for me. Sleep is what keeps me sane and healthy. And if I get enough sleep, I can pretty much deal with anything. And if we look at what the sleep researchers are saying, sleep is just so incredibly important to your health, especially if you're looking at it from mental health standpoint and performance standpoint. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits first. So Dr. Matthew Walker is a sleep scientist, and he's kind of a what's the term? A sleep scientist and science educator. And he's done some big podcasts. He's been on the Joe Rogan Experience a bunch of years ago. And that's where I first heard him. And he's just spent 3 hours talking about the research he's doing and his findings on sleep. And then I went on to listen to another 12 hours of podcasts after that, listening to his stuff, and I've been following his work ever since. And with some of my academic studies, we looked at sleep from the perspective of athletes, of people who performance is their job, and what effect sleep has there. Sorry, there's some construction going outside and I had to close the door. So let's look at this. Going from slightly underslept to, let's say you're getting 7 hours of sleep, and taking that to 8 hours of sleep. That alone can be enough to give you a 30% improvement in your cognitive and physical capabilities. 30%. There is no drug in the world that can give you that kind of improvement. All for 30 to 60 minutes of extra time in bed with your eyes closed. It's insane. One of the most challenging time periods for a lot of people when it comes to sleep is when you have babies, kids in the house, infants. They make it hard. And this is where I start working with people from an athletic standpoint. High level athletes need about 10 hours of sleep a day. I did my big post grad research paper on baseball players. And baseball players will play something like 200 games over 6 months. It's insane. Like they're playing multiple games a day. They're playing almost every day for sometimes a couple weeks before they get off. But they're traveling from spot to spot. There's no way they're getting enough sleep every night. So what do? They work on a 24-hour clock. So getting your sleep over 24 hours as opposed to, well, it's nighttime. Oh, now it's daytime. I can't sleep anymore. It's nonsense. When you need sleep, you need sleep. The best thing you can do is get that sleep, even if it's over 24 hours instead of over your 8 or 7 or 9 hour span overnight. So, for parents and athletes and people who need more sleep, sleep over 24 hours. Not total, like don't sleep for 24 hours straight, but calculate your sleep over 24 hours. That means if you get 5 hours at night, you need at least 3 more. So take some naps. If you have babies, go to sleep when they go to sleep. Doesn't matter if the house is clean. Deal with that later. The house will still be there. It'll get messy again. Get some sleep. Take a nap. And make up the sleep over a 24-hour period. That's the key. For those that have a more regular schedule, you just want to try to make sure you're in bed at least 8 hours and most of that sleeping. And then sleep hygiene. No blue light. No screens. No dopamine injections from social media. At least 30 minutes before bed. Ideally, at least 60. Take the last hour before bed to wind down. Dim the lights. Read next to a non-bright fluorescent light. Like I have a little salt lamp next to my bed. No, I don't think the salt does anything special, but it's a nice pink red light. And it's very relaxing, and it makes it easier to wind down and shut down the cortisol production. No phones in the bedroom. You don't need your phone in the bedroom. If you do, keep it away from your hands. Put it towards the foot of the bed. Put it across the room. So if someone actually is calling you and it's an emergency and you need to get it, you have to get up to get it. Just like you have to get up to turn off your alarm so you don't snooze a bunch. And just like you can't play on your phone when it's across the room. And I have clients that I work with where that's part of their training. They have to record what time to go to bed and where they put their phone before bed. Because ultimately, those two kind of go hand in hand. So we need to be mindful of the parameters around sleep, how much sleep we're getting, and then quality. Quality is hard. There's a lot of things that go into that. But ultimately, more time in bed, more time relaxed is better. If we have more unbroken sleep, that's better, but sometimes we don't get that. And there's a lot of things that go into that. So for those of you that answered that it varies from day to day, the best things you can do are have a set sleep time. It's more important to sleep before midnight than it is to get to sleep in the morning. So you want to get your sleep in earlier. We're switching days. So more sleep before midnight is better than sleeping in. So if you're staying up till 1, 2 in the morning, then sleeping until 9 or 10, it's not as good for you. It's not as restful. There's processes that happen in your brain and with your hormones that happen better earlier in the evening. So go to sleep at the same time. Have a sleep hygiene or sleep ritual that stops the stress and the thinking and the dopamine injections and the blue light and the cortisol. Slow everything down. Take time away from the screens. Don't go to bed right after binge watching 6 hours of Netflix. Take 30 minutes to an hour to read or to talk or to journal. Work on your sleep ritual and then have 8 to 9 hours of time set aside with which you'll be in bed. Even if you're not sleeping, don't reach for your phone if you wake up. That's a terrible idea. Stay in bed. Reach for a book. Reach for a journal. Don't pick up your phone. But get a set sleep time and a sleep schedule, and a lot of problems will work themselves out. So the varies day to day is hard, especially if you are a busy parent or professional and you got a lot of things going on and no set schedule. But do your best to set a schedule for sleep and stick to it like an adult. A smaller amount of people, 26% of people who answered the poll said yes, they get enough sleep constantly, and good. And I know Dave's in there, and Dave doesn't have a very high sleep need. There's very, very few people who truly have a low sleep need. I think it was Dr. Matthew Walker who said that there are people who can get by with less than 6 hours of sleep a day. But that number across the population is so low. The percentage of people is so low that it rounds to zero before it rounds to 1%, meaning there's almost nobody. And most people who uh, think they can get by with less sleep generally are missing out on that 30% extra performance that they could be having. But there are people that do need less sleep. A lot of times people just have poor sleep and then they say they need less sleep. And the key with sleep deprivation is it's like being drunk. You don't realize how impaired you are when you're drunk. You do not realize how impaired you are when you're sleep deprived or how good you used to feel before you were sleep deprived. And all the parents out there, you can relate. My kid didn't sleep through the night for the first 18 months of his life. 18 months without having a full night's sleep. You have to make up for that. And then when you get that first full night's sleep, you're like, oh, oh wow, I've felt like shit this whole time. And you don't realize it. So yeah, sleep is just absolutely important. And like I said, that's my foundation. Above all, sometimes I go off and do adventures and I come back and I'm starving and I'm tired and I will sleep before I eat most of the time because I just won't be able to eat much when I'm that tired. Sleep, then eat. But that's me. Some people have different priorities, but I do understand, and I want you to understand the importance of sleep. And Gemma commented on that, who is actually one of the clients I wanted to shout out today, because Gemma's in the tapering period for her upcoming powerlifting comp in May, and she's been just every week killing it. Videos come in, and squats are looking better, the bench is looking easier, deadlifts are looking stronger, and she's lifting weights that, for reps, 4 or 5 reps that were her max like a year ago. So that's awesome to see. But she's saying that not shy about going to bed at 8:30, but she gets up at 4 or 5, and that's right. You can't get up at 4 or 5 in the morning if you're going to bed at midnight. Not if you want to have a long and healthy, enjoyable life. So definitely got to get on the sleep, people. Sleep is such a thing that we give up, and it shouldn't be the thing we give up out of everything. Anyway, that's enough of my ranting about sleep. Let's shift gears. Abby's been on a crusade. Yeah, maybe we'll say a crusade. Crusade to make Mondays not Mondays. So thank God it's Monday has been her big push in the group these days. And those that don't know, Abby's our team nutritionist. I think that's an awesome thing. Like the idea is, it's not thank God it's Friday. Oh, good, the week is over. Now I get to stay up late and binge watch TV and get drunk. Nah, thank God it's Monday. I mean, okay. Those of us who are self-employed don't have Mondays and weekends. We just kind of have a rotating schedule of what needs to be done needs to be done. But the idea of what we say to ourselves, the words that we say change our reality. The words that we say in our head, the ones we say out loud to ourselves and to other people, they change our reality. And this kind of comes down to the idea of affirmations. Saying something to yourself every day until it becomes reality. Not just that you believe it, but that it actually changes how you think. And she went on to say that positive emotions are linked with plenty of benefits for improved health and well-being and longevity and quality of life. And that's our big thing here, quality of life. And just reframing it to be like, yeah, all right, time to kick ass. Monday, this is the start of my productive period of the week where I'm kicking ass and doing the things that support the other parts of my life. Whether you are doing work that you love, which is amazing if you can do that, or whether you're doing work that supports the things that you love. Either way, Monday's a blessing. So I like that change of mindset. Well, let's see here. So a few other things, some announcements. So last week, was it last week? What day is it? Yeah, it was last week. Last week I had the opportunity to head out for 2 days exploring the bush in southern New South Wales in an attempt at a pig hunt. So traditional bow pig hunt. So I spent 2 days out there. I'm not going to give away too many secrets, but I've put together a bit of a video series that I'm releasing in the group and on social media, just giving you an opportunity to come along and immerse yourself in this amazing landscape and seeing what I saw and some of the thoughts that were running through my head at the time. So I'm not going to say what happens, but if you're interested in exploring the Australian bush in a very unique area, come along. You can find those videos in the group. I dropped the first one yesterday. It's also going to be on my social media on Facebook and Instagram, Coach Josh Wood. But come along. All right, now's the time for hard work and shout outs. So I want to shout out a few clients who've been killing it this last week. Basuki, who is a I met her through powerlifting. She lives in Tasmania as well, and she's been a bit under the weather, and she's had a 6 month hiatus from the gym, and she is back in action. And what could be better than that? Getting back into it. So awesome work to Basuki. I did want to say, great work to Gemma this week. She's been doing awesome with her powerlifting, and we had a lot of back and forth on tweaking her technique on things like low bar squats, and then the bench patterning. So that's been really awesome. And then I wanted to shout out to Lauren, who is a client in California, and she's just looking to get jacked. Former stage competitor in physique for women. I think actually maybe it was bikini for women, and just getting back into the swing of things, getting jacked, and it's just so much fun to just watch those reps and those weights continue to go up, and then hear how much the workouts are feeling good and how jacked she's feeling. So that's always awesome. And then I want to shout out to Alex. Alex is another Tasmanian client who's been away for a little bit and just getting back into things. And that's a great example that you don't need to spend hours in the gym every day. You just need 15 to 30 minutes a couple times a day works fine. And it's great to have Alex back, getting in the swing of things, and getting her strength on track. We spent a lot of time working in person on some previous injuries from doing a lot of strongman training. And then it was just about getting her function back so she can walk again down the beach and do longer hikes and bushwalks and spend more time moving with less pain. And we got her through the hip stuff and then the shoulder stuff, and it's really been about building some capacity now. And it's just awesome to see that kind of progress. Everyone's got a different story, everyone's got a different path through life, and it's just cool to see how they all progress. And I'm just happy to be part of that journey. So well done to everyone. Thanks everyone for participating in the group conversations this week. It's always fun. If you got any topics you want to talk about, you want me to go over on these lives, please let me know. Drop a comment or create a post in the group, and we can all jump on that and share experiences and knowledge and help each other out. And of course, as always, if there's any help you need, any help to become strong for life, all you busy parents and professionals and anybody who's time poor trying to make their health a priority again and needs some help getting that done, hit me up. You know how to reach me. Always happy to help. All right, folks, until next week, have a good one.